Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome to your weekly dose of newsy infotainment. It's Let's Be Treasonable, coming to you from the luxurious studios of Radio Titans in Los Angeles, with your cognitive dissidents on the panel this week. Raja Michael.
Hi, how are you?
How are you?
Good, good.
Excellent, great to have you here. And also joining us, Kat Alvarado.
Hello, how are you guys?
Doing well, thank you. How are you doing?
Awesome.
Excellent. Great to have you both in the studio. I'm Dr. David Robinson. I will be your host. And it is America in Crisis Day 128.
I'm kind of getting adjusted to being in crisis. It's like my new life.
It really is. We can tell ourselves this is not normal as much as we want, and we can recognize that this is not normal, but it is. Welcome to the new normal.
This is like when your parent marries a crazy person. Now this person's part of your life. Like, this is your stepmom now.
You're waiting for the divorce. It'll come, but you have to.
It might not.
It's like when it's like waiting for your parents to get divorced.
A little.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we all know if America does get divorced, we're all going to stay with them.
I'm not going with Trump. Don't send me with Trump, please.
Some white nationalist compound
Let them
in
have.
Idaho or Montana.
Let his followers go with him.
They can be coal-powered.
Coal power.
Which brings us to the big story this week. Trump announced on the 1st of the month that we would be pulling out of the Paris Climate Accord.
Because of his loyalty to the coal miners, right? Which is funny because
he loves those
what
miners.
life are the coal miners going to have when there's no earth to live in? Nice. You know what I mean? And also, if you're that loyal to coal miners, give them some fucking healthcare.
That's what I heard, is that there aren't even that many coal miners anywhere. Mm-hmm. There's Arby's employs more people, I believe is what I heard.
If you care about them,
well,
offer them some free job training so they can get into a different industry.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
That is a big point.
If you really care about them, give them some free job training to get them into different industries that's not destroying their health and their bodies.
There's so many jobs in solar. I know so many open micer comedian stoners who are absolute good for nothings, and they work in solar now.
If they can do it in America, so can you.
Coal miners are hardworking people. I believe in them, their ability to transition to something different.
Absolutely, but people don't like change. I think that speaks to human nature a little bit. If we want to get real deep, people like their life. They're like, this is what I do. I am a coal miner. This is my identity. I don't want to change. So I don't know how you get at that. I think you gotta just really drive the point home that hey, coal is dead and you need to move on.
Well, if there's no work left, people will have to change, instead of just continuing to pretend this is
it's kind of like they're enabling people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, all these white welfare queens sitting on their butts waiting for Trump to bring coal back. Horrible. But it's interesting, and I think you point that the industry is fading. So what one might expect the federal government to do is to step in and, teach these people new skills, get them into renewable energy. There are more jobs in renewable energy.
Yes.
And as Kat said, there are, I think, less than 70,000 jobs in the coal industry because American demand is going down. Because people are shifting over to natural gas, which is cheaper to produce. And when Trump made his big announcement on, what was that, Tuesday? And when he said that we were pulling out of the treaty, the studies, his information was completely off. He was citing studies that have been disproven, information out of context. And I think a big part of his speech, which people aren't necessarily focusing on, is when he was talking about how disastrous the Paris Accord would be for American jobs if our economy is growing at 3%, which he expects, which economists are saying isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
They're saying it's not really realistic.
Just lies.
So when Trump said, it's lies, but it's that, Music Man, aspirational thinking, that put a monorail in Springfield and put a school band in River City and is pulling America out of the Paris Climate Accord.
Yeah. It's not really grounded in reality or what's possible. It's grounded more in like this grandiose vision.
But this goes exactly with the rest of the pattern of Trump. So much of him isn't based in reality. He's like this collage,
He's a persona. That's all he is.
hodgepodge of whatever his base wants to hear. It's almost like they took a focus group or a survey of everything that Trump supporters believe and think, and were like, okay, whatever they think, whatever this craziness is, you're going to support it no matter what. I mean, that's why he approves of Alex Jones, who thinks that there are lizard people out there. I mean, what doesn't Alex Jones think? Like, there's all sorts of insanity. And because Trump knows that his followers are also Alex Jones's followers, and that those people don't believe in climate change, that all of these other beliefs that go with that demographic, he's going to cater to that, even if that means he's going to say a bunch of lies, because I'm pretty sure he's a puppet. Like,
he's just like the
he's
physical
not-
embodiment.
Well, we're going to get into that
Okay.
in a minute.
We're getting ahead of it.
But yeah, we'll talk about the puppetry of Trump. But I think you're right. And even within his speech, CNN had a great piece this morning. Basically, as Trump was announcing plans to pull out of the climate accord, saying that, we support American innovation. The Trump budget, which he put out last week, it's still a proposal, like pretty much everything else he pitches, not reality. But his budget cuts funds for innovation in climate.
What does he consider innovation? That's what, I feel like with his supporters, he says anything. It doesn't matter if it falls through. But yeah, he's saying innovation. But to them, innovation is again imagining that this is like 3 decades ago, and we could do anything we want and push forward anything we want. I'm sorry, I cut you off without anything really smart to say. I just got mad when I heard that, because I've been getting mad, but it's like, what is innovation to these people? Supporting a dying industry? What are they talking about?
A friend of mine actually showed me yesterday a video, though, by a person who was supporting exiting the Paris Agreement, and it was just this crazy wackadoodle on YouTube talking, so take it for what it's worth. But Crazy Wackadoodle was saying that a lot of the money that we're going to give to the Paris Agreement is going to go to poor countries that are very corrupt, and so they're just going to squander the money anyway.
So we should just keep it in a rich country that's corrupt.
Kind of.
Is that the plan?
But the idea is that, like,
it's
if we
the global
kept that
version
money
of they're
in the
just going to
US,
spend it on booze and drugs.
basically. But the idea is like, what's the difference between solar panels in corrupt country X in Africa versus solar panels in whatever state in the U.S.? So, which I'm like, okay, I kind of get it. But like you said, that's a huge assumption that they're just going to spend it on, quote, booze and drugs. Huge assumption.
Yeah, meanwhile, we'd rather keep the money to spend it on hookers and blow. Totally different thing. Totally
as
different
long as
mode.
it's like a rich country, there's only a problem when a poor country does it.
Well, like in Nicaragua, I'm Nicaraguan, and they did not support the Paris Agreement, and we did it because it was not strict enough, right?
So very different reasoning.
Absolutely. So I think in that case, like, you're like, okay, I get it. That's a positive reason to not support the Paris Agreement. And
Yes
if
and no.
our attitude was even close to that, that would be...
Yeah, if
That'd be nice,
it was
but we
close.
know that it's not. Like, we're not even faking it.
Well, and that was one of the big issues this week, was reporters trying to get anyone in the White House to answer whether or not Trump believes in climate change. If he believes that it is a man-made phenomenon.
Can I tell you my opinion on that?
And
sorry,
on whether or not Trump believes or on whether or not it exists.
Whether or not, no, I don't believe in climate change, guys. No, I'm kidding. Of course I do. Of course I believe in climate change. And what I think, I honestly believe that Trump knows that climate change exists. Because remember, he didn't always have this set of beliefs. I think he 100% knows it exists, but he doesn't care. Like, he doesn't care about the world after he dies. As long as he has his fame while he's alive, he doesn't care that everyone else is going to hell. It's the same way, like, his 1% type of capitalist folks, they always treat the world like this. They always will destroy the world for their personal gain. I bet you, I will bet, I don't have a million. I can't bet something I don't have. But seriously, though, for real, though, he knows it's real. He knows. It's just the same way he knows Obama was born in America. He always knew that.
But I think it's a very obviously politically expedient to ignore the facts, but also it's rich white privilege that basically, and this isn't really white, it's more just economic privilege. Fuck the world. My kids are going to be taken care of.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't matter. Which is disturbing in its own right. But that, one of the things that really stuck out to me is they were interviewing the head of the EPA, Scott Pruitt, at a press conference, and reporters were asking, does the president believe in climate change? And Pruitt said, we just talked about the Paris Accords. Is this good for America or is this bad? We didn't talk about climate change. Isn't that
Oh my God.
isn't that kind of like
Oh my God.
deciding where you're going to eat
Jesus.
without considering money
Yeah.
or food?
They don't care.
Oh my God.
How do you decide what's good or not good what's good or bad for America if you're not considering the context in which America is in? And that context is the world. It's the world. We're a part of this world. If you can't consider what's good or bad for America if you don't consider about sustaining this earth.
Well,
there's
it's like, this
we're
year
going to go with the rest of this world.
We're going to take the Indy 500, and we're not going to judge the winner based on speed and number of times they went around the track. We're not going to consider that when determining the winner of the Indy 500. There's so many other issues to deal with these cars and the drivers, the speed and number of times going around the track. It's irrelevant.
Well, it's that whole thing about this internalized view of American exceptionalism, right? There's this idea that we're so exceptional, and it goes so far in people's imaginations that they think like the whole world's gonna be flooded under this huge climate change apocalypse, but somehow America's not. We're going to survive. The rest of them are going to go to hell. No, we're going with the rest of the world. We're a part of this world.
These people don't, a lot of his supporters and people who deny climate change, they're folks who are not only, well, some of them are educated, some of them went to ITT Tech, and they're anti-intellectual though. They don't like to hear anyone tell them that they're wrong. They don't want to hear anyone tell them what to think at all. So
they hate objectivity as well.
They hate objectivity, and they're just contrarian. They just want to be sticks in the mud and not bend to anyone's will. It's like a point of principle. Even though like the boat is sinking around them, they would be on the Titanic being like, no, this ship isn't sinking, and it is. And I don't know how to get through to these people. And unfortunately, those are the people who Trump appeals to.
And
so
it's
he's going to
not
cater to
just that mentality that, no, the boat isn't sinking. It's the reality of them being on the boat and telling all the other passengers, ha, your boat is sinking. You're on the same fucking boat.
Yeah.
I think it was Chris Hayes on MSNBC this week pointed out that after Trump withdrew from the Paris Accord, the anti-Trump voice in social media was all about how disastrous this could be for the environment, for America's position as a leader in the world, for all these things that were related to the policy. Whereas most of the people who were celebrating it on social media were basically just liberals got screwed. And it's that mentality. It's that they don't realize, no, we all got hosed.
Yeah.
You're just too stupid to be upset about it.
Yeah.
It's like the politics is like they're watching it like sports games. Like when I was growing up, I grew up in Brooklyn, so I was a Mets fan. So anything the Yankees did was evil. I'm still like that. I will always
do is evil.
It's just true. And any team that plays against them, I root for the other team. I hate the Yankees so much to the point that like it will hurt my relationship with people who I love, who are my friends who are Yankees fans. Like, that's the point, right? Because I grew up in Brooklyn. That's my alliance. And that's how they treat politics. That's how they're like, oh, my God, like, oh, the Yankees, whatever. And they're treating it like an unimportant game. Like,
yeah, meanwhile, Darryl Strawberry and Alex Rodriguez could go on a 3-day Coke binge, and it's really not going to affect your life.
No,
I don't know
it's
what
not.